That's funny. I was just about to do our intro and I said that I'm disconnected, but hopefully we'll come back to that. We are streaming, so hello everyone and welcome to Old World. Back at it again with another session between Alcaras and Blaj, part 3 of the Old World of their Old World Community Tournament match. It's been a very interesting session, and with me in the co-caster's chair today is our community member Baldus. Baldus,
Yeah.
hello.
Hello, and I had the pleasure to spectate and comment this third session yesterday of this match, and it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen today. Unfortunately, I will have to leave you in an hour or so, but let's see what's happened in the first hour here. It's going to be exciting.
All right. Well, since you were tuned into that session, why don't you give me a quick, your quick, I don't know, 20-second
Yeah,
summary of what went down yesterday? Because I
I
did not
I
catch session 3.
I'll do my best. We had the second session. If you go to the military graph, you can see the story. We had Alcaraz trying to push in and take the middle city.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't accomplish that. It was very exciting, very close. And then afterwards, we had basically a build-up session. And in the beginning of the session, I would say our Babylonian player, Blaj, he had a pretty strong position. He had better military, he had better science, but his decisions were kind of split. He didn't know exactly where to focus. At least that's my assessment. And
Oh,
I
wow.
think the 20 turns where they initially started with the same amount of improvements and Blaj had better science. I think Alcaraz's experience showed in those turns. I think he came out ahead. One thing he had going for him was he had more workers, and he was able to start up the economy and get it going. And he's ready now. He's ready for whatever coming his way. And I'm excited to see what Blaj has in store. But as you can see, Blaj's Southern Peninsula, he didn't make a decisive decision if he wanted to settle it or clear it or move in towards his opponent. But yeah, whereas Alcaraz was just sitting back and doing the right things, getting defensive, building specialists, getting the economy going, spreading the religion, fixing relationships with the family, or at least trying to. So yeah, we had an exciting session, um, but
Looks
I think Alcaraz got the stronger game in the last session.
Absolutely. It looks like we are having a mass buildup all over Carthage of onagers, which is going to be immensely helpful to deal with any threat from Blaj. And it does look like Blaj made the classic mistake here of giving Alcaris all the time he needs. I do recall after the failed invasion of Dur Athara from Carthage, Blaj was in a very, very strong position. I don't again in that third session I didn't watch it, so I can't say for sure if Blaj was in a position to go in for the kill and secure the win at that stage. But if we watch here on the science progression from turn 67 to now, just 10 turns, exactly 10 turns, Alcaraz has skyrocketed his science. And yeah, the total science invested in the tree, Blaj only had the lead of about 600 or so science. So that's basically 1 to 2 solid mid-game techs. Um, yeah, definitely interesting. We're seeing some rushed out Cimmerian archers, Cimmerian, yeah, and that's gonna be a really good use of civics there. We have a nice stockpile, 1,100 civics on Blaj, and we're making 121 per turn, so we could rush out a handful of these 8 strength units for quite some time, so that's going to be beneficial. We are seeing Macemen, which is going to be nice. They're going to pretty much everything I'm looking off of on Carthage right now is pretty not equipped to deal with what could be coming from Blaj. So he's really going to be relying on onagers, and we do see ballistas coming in now as well. That's going to be the best defense that Alcaraz has. But of course, Blaj is also 2 turns away from hydraulics himself.
He is. One thing to note is the leader of Babylon. I believe he's going to change leader this turn,
Oh
going
yeah,
from
Regent.
his diplomat and regent exactly, and go into a zealot. And he does have quite the civics bank
Ooh.
banked up, which could be decisive
Oh
in a battle.
my God.
Um,
A 9 courage. 18-year-old zealot. Do we have a state religion? We need what? Where are we on that? We have citizenship. I think it's high time. We do have divine rule. We adopt. We have paganism everywhere.
he should he should adopt his pagan
Oh
religion.
wow.
I think that would be the right call, and we were talking about that last session as well.
Oh man, Alcaraz is in for a world of hurt with a 9 courage zealot with the ability. As soon as Blaj picks up on the fact that he can adopt his pagan state religion, he will have the ability to rush units from 1, 2, 3, soon to be a 4th one right on the front line. 6, 7, 8, 9,
I
9
I
cities.
I I I lack the sense of urgency from Blaj. I don't think he realizes it's kind of a timing window he has right now. As he's looking at the science, he looks at a naive Carthage player, and that's misleading for the current situation, I think. And
Yeah.
he's as you can tell, he's clearing the barb sides. Although in a turn or two, it's gonna be uh, in the past. He's going to be able to clear those sites, settle the cities, and then turn his attention towards his opponent. But he can't be resting too long because we have ballistas, onagers, and everything lining up for a strong defense.
Yeah. Interesting enough, you have I think at one point this northern site was something different than Thracians with like Gauls or something. But at this stage in the game, I would not think it's entirely unreasonable. Now, obviously, we're here. We'll be able to clear this camp with this archer pretty easily, so we might as well just do it now that we're down here. But going into this, maybe taking a cod makes sense, but you could have just pieced out the Thracians and let them sit there for the rest of the game. I don't think in Blaj's current position, I don't think he actually needs to clear the whole map in order to win. He has everything he needs, especially with that zealot rush potential coming online to close out this game. And that's one of the things that's interesting about this game. It's like in Alcaraz's case, is come down and clear this peninsula with a clear advantage, and it helps set him up to have a strong game. But there eventually comes a time where it's like the question is it too late to bother clearing this? Should you leverage whatever advantage you have, move forward, and just close out the game without actually gaining territory? It's one of those weird nuances that can be difficult to parse out. Also,
In the
just want to
middle,
thank
you can
every. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, not just go. Just I'll just take your attention to the very middle of the map. You can see a skeleton
Yeah.
lying there, and there is Blaj was trying to build a road a turn or two ago, so that tells me he's looking for some kind of engagement soon. Myself and Nisar, we were discussing what we would do in the current position. And we were saying maybe utilize his Sentinel bonus and make a quick switch into colonies and buy some tiles around the little forest where you have the scout standing, and maybe take the engagement in that area. But yeah, it's I find it difficult to push into a defensive Carthage player in this situation, but I'm looking forward to him trying.
Well, it's going to be very tricky once the whole map becomes flooded with Onager and Ballista, and the one that's actually going to shore up another weakness that we have when it comes to Blaj's configuration here. We have virtually no mounted units on the Babylonian side, and it can be very easy to get tunnel vision when it comes to unit compositions. You can think, oh wow, now I have onagers, I'm just going to spam onagers, or I'm just going to spam ballistas, or maybe you hit your archer timing, your axe timing, or whatever it is, or your unique unit, right? I mean, maybe you're a Carthage. We don't really have a lot of access to the elephants on this map, but just for the sake of the point, maybe you're Carthage and you hit a bunch of elephants and you're just spamming the one single unit, and the next thing you know, you go up against a bunch of camels and spears and you get absolutely wrecked, and you think to yourself, well, what happened? And what happened was you didn't have a diversified unit comp to deal with the fact that your unit composition is very counterable. So currently, being primarily infantry, it'll be very interesting to see onagers and ballistas go toe to toe with 8 strength Babylonian unique units. I'll be curious to see who comes out on top there. Definitely an advantage strength wise, but the onagers don't require Eagle Eye to do full damage. So the Babylonian unit is still going to have splash and whatnot, but unless those guys get Eagle Eye, they're going to be suffering some damage penalties when they start attacking at a distance. So it could be a more even fight than you'd expect. And of course, Ballista will just shred any 8 strength infantry unit like it doesn't care. It just, the Ballista cares not when it comes to strength size. All right. What else do we have going on with the Zealots getting ready to take the throne?
One thing we have is a discrepancy between the war chest from the two players. Currently, I say our Babylonian player is quite poor. He doesn't have that many resources stacked up. So even though he might have this zealot, it's not going to be easy to rush them out.
Yeah. That is true. Also, he has a negative 518 gold penalty coming in right now. Let's check the politics in Babylon. Also, not looking nice politically, not looking good in Babylon when it comes to wanting to make an attack on your opponent. We have 2 people who are angry with us, so that's going to be a 10% combat penalty. If we hop on over to Carthage and check out the politics there, whoa! All right. Politics in Carthage isn't doing so hot either. In fact, I want to check something out. Yeah, it's probably because we spent 92 legitimacy in the first half of the game on our schemer. That's going to be a 90.
Both players went all out in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
engagement.
I forgot. They both started as stinger.
They both had a schema.
74 on Babylon. Oh my god.
We have an amazing situation with absolutely zero legitimacy, and families, they hate them,
Wow.
which is a tough order. It takes a lot of experience to get that relationship back. We see our Babylonian player Blaj. He decided to go with Judaism as his state religion and not go for his pagan religion, which is
That makes virtually 0 sense to me. He has.
yeah,
Oh my god, he has
that's
paganism
enticing.
in every city. That's a blunder.
He got the Judaism to spawn, and if it spawned in year 74, so that was basically last turn on the last session or something like that.
Wow.
On his hunter's family side.
That
Dill
that
bot.
definitely seems like a misstep here. Also, I just wanted to do an audio check, by the way, for those live in chat with us now, because I do have a new person with me. Want to make sure that he sounds good, I sound good, everybody sounds good. Also, my mic stand decided to officially break out on me, so I'm holding it in my lap, and that's always annoying. So if you hear extra sounds or anything like that because the mic's moving around, feel free to give me some feedback on that, and I'll try to rectify the situation. Yeah, man, this is going to be a very, very costly economic system. We're going to have to start selling off our resources compared to Carthage, whose economy is fantastic. So this could be a situation where, maybe, again, hard to say after missing that third session, but maybe Blaj had a window to seal the deal and, took time to build up. And I think maybe Alcaraz's experience and preference for that economic buildup could give him a path potentially to actually winning this one out after coming very close to putting himself into a position where it looked like it was certainly up in the air. His vision, by the way, is
If you
fantastic. There's 5 scouts on
he
the
has
map for
exactly he has he knows what's going on. He knows
yeah.
what's coming, and we don't have Blaj with the same intel. None of them have spy master yet, so they don't have any agents scouting the city.
Yeah.
Another thing, the longer the game goes on, I think the Carthage economy is just gonna fuel a stronger and stronger nation,
Oh, absolutely.
and he will be the first. He will be the first to legendary. And if you click on the worker in classic fashion, he has everything planned out, including the Colosseum, which obviously isn't going to win him the game, but it's it
There we go.
it still tells a story about how he has an idea about where he wants this game to go.
Yep.
I think his he has the axemen in the forest. They are fortified, ready for action. We have onagers. We have the worker count. We have things going in our favor.
Oh,
And
yeah.
while we might be naive currently, oh, right now they are competent on knowledge. So he knows that has changed recently, and he knows his science is coming back so fast currently.
And the other advantage for Alcaraz here, honestly, after the thrashing he took against Blaj when trying to take that city, and also with the advantages, is they're still similar, but as he starts spotting 8 strength units popping up and kind of basically trying to bide time on the defense, I think the Carthaginian economy has the potential to win this game without firing another shot. He does not need to invade Blaj. He doesn't need to risk it. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 16, 18 points on the table, which would bring us to victory through wonders alone. And we have the economy to just go on a mass building spree while Blaj doesn't have the econ to support mass wonder spam. So that's a path for Alcaraz to just kind of sit back, play heavy defense, and close out this game without giving Blaj the opportunity to take it from him.
And I think I would pursue that
Yeah.
victory condition if I were in his position. And I'm curious what's going to happen now. Blaj is for the first time in a long time now going to see that the science is similar. I think he might have wrongly estimated himself to be ahead in science for some time, giving himself more time than he actually has.
Yeah.
I don't think he realized soon enough what kind of win condition his opponent might have been going for.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you
we'll
can kind
see.
of bait yourself too, because like with text coming down to raw science and stuff like that, a deep beeline can get you high in science because of the total overall cost. And then if you get high enough, your opponent can do something similar where they catch up to a couple of core texts like maybe 7 laws or dipping up to hydraulics to get ballista, which is what Alcaraz did, things like that. And because it's so isolated up one part of the tree in terms of its raw science, especially if you really micro that beeline and get there as quickly as you can, then that's actually not going to show your opponent. Carthage is still showing as naive, actually, in terms of knowledge here. So that's actually not going to show your hand. You kind of basically get to stealth your way through the tech tree where you get really good, powerful technology, but your opponent doesn't quite know what you have unless they're really paying attention to the map. Which, of course, you can. If Blaj had good scouting, as soon as he spotted, are there any mills being built? Yep, there are some mills being built. So if Blaj had better scouting, he could spot the hydraulics play coming online now.
But Alcaraz has been very good at clearing the forest, so he doesn't leave a lot of room for scouting.
Yeah. Also, his territory.
Our
Yeah, go ahead.
Our Babylonian player, on the other hand, he's being read like a book with all the scouts all around the place. So yeah, we have 5 scouts. That's a lot.
Yeah, there's open. Let's do a comparison here. This is all forested tile in this gap between the Empire. Carthage has a similar gap here, but there's no forests at all. And then, of course, there's one more gap over here in Babylon, and the borders have collapsed for Carthage for most of the areas. Yeah, so this is going to be really interesting. I'm very excited by this. This has been such a fascinating game. I've been really enjoying, we've been seeing this more often in the tournament, games that have an initial early conflict, and that early conflict seems to be decisive in one way or the other, yet the game continues to go on and find itself leading towards a surprising conclusion, and honestly, either result in this case would still surprise me. If, Blaj surviving that initial invasion and then going on to win the game through conquest would be a surprise to me. It would be an upset, but also the fact that Carthage, Alcaraz just kind of blundered that invasion so hard, lost territory, and then managed to get himself back into the game economically. It's so hard to recover when you waste so much resources and effort.
It is. We have a question from Soren in chat, and he's asking that if the map was mirrored, or if our Alcaraz has been chopping down the forest.
Yep.
He was doing his due diligence last session and chopping down the entire forest in the neutral area here.
All of this was clear chopped manually by Alcaraz. This was intentional on the part of the player. Very cool. Yeah, because see, we had the deer here. The deer wouldn't be there without having forest, because they don't spawn out in the open like that. Yeah, very, very important clear chopping. I love that as a technique and a tactic in this game, that you have to be mindful of the points of vision your opponent can come in. Now, what we do have an interesting opportunity here, because there are no ships in the water yet for Carthage, is we're seeing some of this from Blaj now. We are getting some scouting through the ocean, which I appreciate immensely. As long as you keep yourself far enough off the coast, you can get some eyes on your opponent with little all they can do about it, unless you force them to build a ship that maybe they don't want to spend the Q on.
And it's a difficult map to know what your opponent can bring to the front line, because we have this northern shore spanning all the way from the capital and all the way to the front line. So you could actually be facing an army standing miles away and suddenly showing up with elephants and whatnot, which is always scary if you're trying to make an aggressive move. Moving into the unknown is
it's awful.
Yeah, it's awful. you don't want to be in that position.
It's just awful. Vision, we've seen it time and time again in this tournament, and it's honestly one of the greatest things I like about this game. I cannot stop singing praises for the tactical elements in this game, the decisions and the questions and the puzzles that the players have to face. And I think more so than nearly any other strategy game of this genre, man, is scouting and vision control so crucial, so important in this game. And it's really great because, it adds an element, espionage becomes important, but it's important intrinsically to the mechanic in the game. There isn't some like spy point system that you have to queue up this random resource, or there are agent missions and networks, but even that, the primary purpose of all of that, for the most part, is information, and it's inherently valuable to have that information. So getting spy networks set up, I mean, you get the spy yields, and yes, you can run missions, but for me, the main benefit is the fact that if someone had a spy network if Blaj had a spy network in multiple Carthaginian cities, he would see what we see right now. It'd basically be like playing your opponent while on spectator mode, and man, you just can't understate how valuable that is going into the end game. Definitely not something you maybe want to beeline for, but come the mid to late game, boy, is it an incredible thing to have.
And I think one of the reasons for that is it's difficult to do anything half-assed in this game and get away with it if your opponent is full throttle in that direction. Yeah. If you're trying to make an aggressive move and you're half-assing it, and your opponent is using all the orders on that war, he's going to win. So it's always a difficult position trying to do multiple things at once. And I kind of get that feel from Blaj currently. We have Disciple in the build queue. We have Acolytes, and we do have some units, Macemen, Spearmen in the front line, but it seems like he doesn't really know what he should pursue currently to advance the game in his direction. Because if he wanted to, he could leverage the fact he has sentinels and ranged units. It's so difficult to push into Blaj's territory currently. So he could maybe switch gear and go all out economy and try to battle out in that direction. But we don't see that. We see sort of in between currently.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? Thoran Johnson's in the chat with us, and so appreciate you being here. And he made a fun comment that I completely agree with. Thoran says, seems like a lot of players are sleeping on treachery in the tournament. And I actually have to agree with that. I think, there was a conversation on Discord recently about spy yields. I'm trying to resolve my mic situation if it sounds a weird. Nice. Okay, cool. I have to sidebar for a second. I have the most insane fix for this. I just took like a lanyard that, you'd have around your neck. And I strapped it to my microphone. So I am now physically attached to my microphone. That way it won't go anywhere.
You're fully committed. I appreciate it. That's very, very nice. And the sound is good on my end, so I think we're good.
I am fully logged in. I am becoming one with the old world streaming community. All right, but anyway, about treachery. I think that's a very difficult thing to deal with, because it's a mission you can run every 3 turns, and if it's successful, it forces your opponent to have to repair their city, and it takes 3 turns for that repair to unfold. So what I think trips players up, and it honestly, I have to admit, I kind of find it a little annoying sometimes, because it's like players are averse to do anything unless it's like a sure thing. So people will look at the treachery stat and they'll see, a 30 or 40% chance to success. Why would I spend 400 gold on that? But dude, if that does succeed every other time that you do it, or every 40% chance to succeed, right? Okay, so if that succeeds, 2 out of 5 times, that's still denying someone 3 turns worth of build queues every 15 turns, and that's insanely awesome. But I feel like people, when they look at things like this, and it's in all manner of things. It's promotion choices, it's tech choices, it's archetype choices, it's all sorts of things. They see certain little nuance like that, and it's almost like, or wonders even. And it's the idea that like, well, if it doesn't give me this best possible outcome or this surefire thing, then I'm less interested in it. But there's so much meat on the bone of Old World, so much juicy stuff you can explore if you just take risks, if you just kind of go off the beaten path and explore a little bit. Because man, oh, seeing some treacheries in this game would be awesome.
What direction would you go given the tech choices? We see Babylonian going for the free Arcadian archer. He could have pushed for the infantry square, which would be a very strong unit. However, it would also
you need horses.
Lock him into that tech choice for a long. He doesn't have any route currently.
Yeah, that's the 100% Blaj's weakness right now. We do have spoked wheel lined up. I personally, in this current situation, like infantry square, don't get me wrong, would be great, but it's another 8 strength unit that's going to get absolutely deleted by onagers and ballistas. So it's like, so between the pikemen and the unique unit that we already have, I'd rather just get the unique unit. I mean, maybe the pike is useful for the odd elephant, but even a spear will shut it down in the way that it needs to be shut down. So right now, my biggest hole that I'm seeing in the tech tree and for Blaj's army in particular is spoked wheel. I would get directly to stirrups as quickly as possible and start using my training rushing, get my economy online to kind of recover from the situation that we're in. Probably start selling stone, to be honest, because I mean, who needs it? We're trying to gear up to win, and yeah, I'd get to stirrups. Because there aren't even a lot of spears in Carthage, by the way. That's the other thing that's fantastic about the tactics of this game is you can go, heavy. Your opponent can go heavy into elephants, so then you go heavy into spears. So then they build a bunch of axes to deal with your spears. But then all of a sudden you build a bunch of horses because you realize they don't have any spears in their army, and it's just a cascading roulette of decision making where the players pass the ball back and forth over and over again. A question from the chat. I do not believe we've seen a single treachery mission once. I know at one point we had a point victory, really, that came down to a points race. We had one player that was in a position to try and steal points off of their opponent, and it was very, very late game. They had the technology. I think they even had the networks, but they did not put 2 and 2 together and try and, as a last-ditch Hail Mary, bring down some city health with a handful of treacheries, because those were low health, low walled cities. That is one downside. I shit talk the wall pretty often in this game, but that is one downside to the ancient network, is that a wall will significantly lessen the power of the treachery mission because the HP is larger. But yeah, no, I don't think we've seen treachery yet. I would love to be wrong, but Portcullis isn't showing up that much at all, to be honest. It's had a pretty decent showing in a couple of games, but for the most part, people have been staying
I'm surprised
away from it.
We don't see it more often. As we talked about before, scouting is
amazing.
vital, and the science you can get from it is also absolutely bonkers, actually. Especially if you have a lower city count at this game. We do have somewhat high city count. It's a somewhat large map for these tournament duels. But I would still, if I had been in Blaj's position, I think I would have tried to weave in portcullis earlier.
Yeah, especially if you go up against
a strong. It's always easy to.
Go ahead.
But it's always easy to say now. Hindsight is 2020 and all that.
Oh, of course.
Right now, it would be way easier for him to make the right choices he needed to make if he had a bit more intel.
And the other thing for Babylon is that their science has stagnated a little bit. If we look at the science rate, it's still steadily rising, but of course we have this sharp rise from Carthage. And another thing, even though yes, I know everyone says, oh, the agent networks yields aren't that great, Carthago is generating 46 science per turn. 34 of that is raw science. So even just a small percentage of 34 science would still be a decent amount. You get that in a couple of different locations. In Malith over here, we have, what is it? Why is that not giving me the total like normal? Well, we have some amount of science. Oh, it's exactly 25. Yeah, it's exactly 25 science. That's so funny. That tooltip confused the shit out of me because it's a plus 25% from governor and negative 25% from discontent. So there's no raw total. Like this is just our science.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah. So you get a couple of agent networks, and I think the thing is it's a little bit, but a lot of a little adds up to a lot. All right, we have one turn away from forestry for Carthage. Go ahead.
And we see a lot of those little things adding up for Carthage currently, like his religion. He has monasteries, for instance, all around, changing his happiness and his science rate one turn at a time. So it's small victories all the way through. How many workers do we currently have? I believe we have around 25 or so for Carthage, and only
28 to 17.
Babylonia, 28. Yeah, that's quite a lot at this stage at the game where they have the orders to spend on building the economy.
Yeah. That's a good point. So actually, let's take a peek. We got a question in chat. Filthy's asking, where do you think you're going to get a lot of agents from? Well, the first thing that I'm thinking of is right here. We are Babylon. Babylon actually has the best roster for agents in the game. All 4 of their families provides characters that gives roster that gives wait, that's not who I'm looking for. I'm looking for agents. Okay, so that's smaller. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 agents. That's plenty. I mean, if we're siphoning yields, you definitely, the 2 main hubs that you're looking for is the 2 biggest science cities. So let's take a look here at Carthage, and we go, pretty much Carthago and Malith, and then you drop off from there. So really just 2 agents would be sufficient to probably, I don't know, we're currently looking at 165 science to 125. I have to assume would probably get about another 20 science from Portcullis, give or take, which, isn't the most amazing science in the world. I'm not saying beeline Portcullis and make it your defining science strategy, but I'm just saying a little bit adds up. Every little drop helps. And yeah, Babylon is looking at, why can't I navigate the character screen? 3 schemers, a hero, and a zealot that can apparently, it's a courtier. Wow. Speaking of treachery, we have an 8. Oh man, we have an 8 courage. Oh my goodness, zealot that could be assigned as an agent. That has to be something like a 50 or 55% success chance on treachery mission right there. That is wild.
You're all about the treachery mission. I have to admit something. I have played this game for, I think, around 400 or 500 hours. I know, not a lot compared to others, but I've yet to use the treachery mission once. It's just, I always seem to have better options. It's a mechanic I don't know too well. I'll admit that.
Yeah. So we're getting spoked wheel now on Blaj, which is exactly what we need. We have 1 turn. Now, here's the fun thing about chariots. Even a chariot, do we have a spare lying around? No, we don't. Even a chariot will do something like 7 damage to an onager in the open. So they pack a punch to an unlimited onager, which is nice. So even just getting spoked wheel is going to put us in a position that's going to give us some tactical edge in the situation that we're about to be walking into, because we have ballistas coming out of every queue. pretty much. Onagers coming out on every other queue for Carthage, so it's like a mass dump into siege. This, I mean, it's turn 80, so, you know, when I say timing, it's not like the perfect timing, but spoked wheels coming online for Babylon, pretty much the exact moment where we need it. We need to run around, find any place we have horses and improve those horses. Still going to have an economic issue. It looks like we did sell a bunch of stone here, or maybe we used it, but yeah, we still have negative
we're, we're,
636 gold.
we're kind of forced to sell resources every single turn currently, as the gold is siphoning out of the economy currently. I
Yeah.
don't see a settler in a build queue anywhere, and I don't see it on the map to settle the last side. He will probably clear it this turn, but I would have liked a settler. Oh, I see it now in Babylon. There will be a settler in 2 turns. And then he can turn his attention fully to the front. And I think that will be a good thing.
Yeah. I don't know. We have questions asking if Alcaraz is letting an attack window go by. I don't know that he's in a position to aggress. Maybe with his onagers, but I mean, there's an onager back here, and you're going to be dealing with sentinels again. This is a sentinel onager. Do we have any more coming out online? No, we have Akkadian archers. Oh, I guess all the Akkadians are down here, huh?
I think Alcaraz is absolutely fine with currently just sitting back and letting his economy fly. He will turn for turn increase his lead, and I think he knows he's in a better position, and I'm not sure Blaj know that yet, which can be dangerous for Blaj. I think Blaj thinks he's better currently, especially in the science department, than he actually is. Because at each turn the lead is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And
take a peek here. Yep, Blaj has about a 700 or 800 science lead on Alcaraz now, but Alcaraz has about 50 more science income per turn, so that is going to close pretty decently. And yeah, I agree. Some of these units are in the back line. I don't know. I think Alcaraz was feeling burned by that initial field assault. I would not be surprised if he plays a steady game. And due to we are making 228 stone per turn. Did we start any? We started another wonder, the Yazakalaya. We're gonna what Alcaraz is gonna do? He's gonna build the necropolis, the Apadana, then the Mausoleum Acropolis Chthon, right? He's gonna secure everything. He knows he's hitting legendary first. At least I think he will assume it, right? And if he builds every wonder in this list, which he could, in theory, afford to do right now, he has 200 iron per turn.
He might very well do it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is all the points he needs to win.
Well do it.
This is every point he needs to win. If Blaj doesn't deny him a single wonder, Alcaraz will win without moving an inch.
Yeah.
In fact, now would be a fine time to try and get a builder on the throne. You could end this game almost instantly. There are no builders in the dynasty.
I don't think he needs to overcommit for anything. Like, go all out on building all the wonders in a record time. I think he's doing the right thing. Slowly build up in both military and economy, and slowly but surely outpacing his opponent. Even though his opponent have a few more cities, he doesn't really have the ability to take advantage of that. At least not yet. It might change down the road, but when we get to that point, I think Alcaraz will be close to the finish line. I would have gone for if you look at the cities, most of the cities has a forum. I would have gone for Acropolis earlier with Carthage.
He does have a lot of forums, and that will certainly help his orders situation.
That would be a lot of orders, in my opinion. still he has the ability to choose which avenue he wants to pursue and continue this game. And I think he's making the right choice, just holding his ground and continuing this slow build up. And that's where he's a really experienced and great player, and it shows. He's also fixing his relationship with the families. Slowly but certainly, they will all go
Oh
to
yeah.
Zoro, and he has great relationship with Zoro. He has all
Whoa.
yeah,
We're getting some troop
mythology,
movements
enlightenment.
towards Utica from
Ooh,
Carthage.
yeah,
This is an interesting play. All
we see an
right.
opening,
Exciting to see.
and we don't see onagers on the other side, which would have been able to punish this move. They are there, but they are late. They need to be
Alcaras,
brought in from all over the world. I think this is. I don't think this is needed, but I think it's a fair chance to see what this can take him.
yeah, I agree. He can test the waters here, see what Blaj is feeling to do. I mean, if this is bait, what I would like. Oh, we have ballistas. We have one ballista here. Do we have any other? Maybe I would have waited for a couple more ballistas to come out online, and basically we have one done in 4 turns, one done in 5 turns, one done in 3 turns, one done in 4. So yeah, in 5 more turns we'll have. Maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wants to start a fight, right? Maybe this is a feint, right? Start a fight, get Blaj interested in going toe to toe here. He can pressure with this onager fire, but if Blaj chooses to aggress on this wide open field, which could be an attractive target, right? Oh man, in 5 turns worth of combat, you're going to have a bunch of ballista coming down to just decimate whatever is in the field.
Yeah. And he has the ability to check his opponent's units and see the opponent is dealing with the furious families. He can count the city sites and know for a fact his opponent hasn't settled the last city. He can presume some
Wow.
action is down there. I think it's the right call to test the waters, and I think that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, and he's got a nice backline onager here too, in case any conflict happens out in this open field. This little backline onager will be able to deal some damage. We have routing. This is not a bad. It feels a little exposed, right? But you got to think is if the fight actually breaks out here, your opponent will then be completely exposed as well, and you also have this water movement. So yeah, not a bad battlefield at all. And of course, the onager fire is just going to chunk on these units, and I think that Blaj is going to have no real recourse here except to maybe just slowly retreat. That seems to be the general thing to do once you start getting creeping onager fire. Or, you play like Aaron and you just charge headfirst into it and kill all of your opponent's onagers, and they can cry for a month about it. And yes,
Are you speaking from personal experience, or what are we?
yeah.
What is this?
I've tried the onager creep thing before, and it didn't work out too well for me. But I was like, surely these 6 onagers will be protected by whatever many units in front of it, and nope, no, it wasn't. Filthy, by the way, you had asked if it was on high. Yes, the point cap is on high. I don't know if you noticed that I had highlighted over that while we were chatting, but we did. We have Doctrine coming online for our Babylonian friend. So that could be some ortho rushing on top. It's so funny. He has all of the abilities to rush units in the world, but 0 economy to support it.
He can't do it. He's still leveraging money each turn. He has to sell off stone and iron and wood, presumably. Yeah, it's a unique position. I personally haven't had the experience of being in at this stage of the game and having such a poor economy to like. What decision do you make? I guess you go council in a lot of cities while building up resources to fuel the war, but you want to build macemen and stuff like that, ballistas, onagers, and your unique unit in all the cities, but you don't have the resources. What do you fill in the meantime? Do you go for a worker, but you don't have the orders to build up the? I don't know what to do. I would have trouble playing this position. But to be fair, Blaj has proved more than once that he is an absolute crazy player when it comes to defense and being under pressure. That's when he shines. Um,
Yeah,
so
he is an
he might have
incredibly
what
resilient
it
player.
takes.
He's an incredibly resilient player. Has I think in every single match that he's played in, including the one he actually lost, right? He has played on and continue to fight even in the midst of having a losing battle. The game that he lost, I remember logging in to that to spectate in the last 5 to 10 turns of that game, and Blaj's capital was being captured, and yet he still played like another 5 to 8 turns trying to find out a way to make Pikeman secure a win for him, and that was just wild to see. And so obviously it didn't work out for him in that match, but then he's gone on to win every single game in the elimination bracket. And in every single game so far, he's encountered, including this one, by the way, he encountered a conflict where it seemed like someone was going to deal a decisive finishing blow against him, and yet he just held his ground, held firm, and continued to truck on to a strong position. So we'll have to see if he can do it again here against Alcaraz one more time.
I think this is a tall order, but I've said it before. I might consider giving up this city up here.
He's gonna have to, yeah.
Go for a defensive position.
There's no way you can
Go
defend
go
Utica.
for this the defensive position in the middle side, and get his own onagers on the hills and be ready for a fight that's gonna happen around that. It's gonna be
Yeah, it's so
gonna cost a
unfortunate
lot of
because
resources he doesn't have to push up and
yeah,
defend Utica.
and that's the real trick, isn't it? Because again, with 226 stone income per turn, 200 iron, over 200. Alcaraz has over 200 in every single resource except wood, and he's making 600 gold per turn. So Alcaraz can look around the map and say, hey, you know what I need to spam? This unit, and then just go and spam it. Whereas Blaj is in the position where he's like, oh man, I could really use a bunch of onagers, and he literally can only afford one. And that's just so unfortunate. He's building a settler. That's wild. Oh, that's wild.
Exactly, that's what I said before. It's all over the place with his build queue.
Yeah.
He's all right on orders. He's not behind on orders. He just have more shit to do, which is difficult.
He is getting lumber mills online now with some watermills, lumber mill combo set. That he's actually a little interestingly enough, even though Alcaraz beat him to machinery, hydraulics, Blaj looks to be a little bit more ahead on getting set up on wood income here. He has quite a bit already at 87 wood per turn. Probably because he got forestry earlier, I suspect.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had forestry.
Let's take a peek at that.
I think Alcaraz got forestry a few turns ago.
Yeah.
Very recently.
72 to turn 81.
Go for that. Yeah.
Interesting. We are going for Doctrine. How do I feel about that? I love Doctrine. It's an immensely powerful technology, particularly for Orthodoxy. It's the only issue that we can't afford to use Orthodoxy. I might go for land consolidation into Manor here, maybe get up to Bodkin, but I guess we don't need that. But really, I'd keep moving towards Stirrups. Anything that gets me to Stirrups quicker. So in this case, I might actually cycle with the free archer, to be honest.
It might be very reasonable. We see a few units moving towards the front on
Oh,
Amazement,
this seems like
but
it's going to be a bad idea.
I don't see onagers coming online. I, I think he might fall back from this city in a few turns, setting up for defending the middle side. But
I think he's going to
we'll
get
see
baited.
what's gonna happen.
I think Blaj
He's
has
doing his.
crappy enough vision that he's going to get himself in position to try and aggress here and defend this, and then he's going to eat a face full of ballistas straight to his infantry line.
We will have ballistas and elephants able to
Oh yeah,
sail in from afar,
that's
and
the
he
thing. That's the
doesn't know
we're
what's coming.
getting so close to this front line. This elephant right here can march right up, right? So it's like once this becomes a ballista that can do this, it's going to do a 1-2 combo of ballista chunking down this infantry line, and then this elephant or two is, if nothing else, even ignoring the route potential, right? Even ignoring the route potential, you can always unlimber these guys with the panic. So either way, your elephant is going to hard counter these onagers either through sheer kill potential with this massive 12 damage it can do, or just by pushing them out of the way, preventing them from firing. So
I,
this
I
setup from Blaj is exactly what Alcaras wants to see.
I find it interesting that the last moves, the last orders he used his turn was to set up the defense for this push. The last 20 orders or so he spent on setting up the defense here. I would have started with that, I think, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He does need to do shit all around his economy, and it might be the right choice, but this he does have Sentinel, and Sentinel is it does nullify his angry families, um, but still, is there an avenue? He could switch to his pagan religion. That would help a little bit, but I don't see a lot of good moves. We do see a forest fire coming in at this moment in time. Another thing happening very soon. That's I'm unfortunately going to leave the call. I'm on borrowed time here. I was just bridging the two sessions from yesterday to today.
Ooh,
So I think this will unfortunately be my last turn. I don't know if anyone is able to come and assist you, but
no worries. No worries. Pleasure
just
to
as
have you
this
join in.
just as this is winding up to be like the actual battle, I'll be sure to catch that later. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, such is always
That's
the
for
case.
certain.
My favorite matches are the one where it's like a battle is just about to start, and all of a sudden they're like, "All right, well, let's call it here, and until next time, right?" And as
Yeah,
a viewer, we're like, "No."
let's reconvene in 2 weeks' time. That's gonna be lovely.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you like that, Rivas? Yeah,
yeah.
but
Wow,
luckily I can catch this
I
later. I
have to
hope
say
so.
though, the position again, I missed the third session that you guys watched of them build up, but Alcaraz really did a fantastic job building up his empire as classic fashion when he's not pressured and he's allowed to just play his econ game. He plays a strong game, and I have to say though, at the end of the
He did
last
have
set,
10 extra workers, and that
yeah, 10 extra workers to
yeah.
use. It's just it's crazy. And I have to say, it's a good comeback here from Alcaraz because it wasn't looking so hot after the second session, after that failed attack, losing the city. But Blaj let Alcaraz be to do Alcaraz things. And now things are not looking great for the Babylonian economy. I thought we were going to have a nice Babylon victory over Carthage here, really hammer down that Carthaginian win rate, but I don't think we're going to get that today. In
I
fact,
doubt it.
yeah, in fact, honestly, we have Battle Line as an option here or Doctrine. Interestingly enough, we probably don't want to dump a bunch of orders now as we're getting in this position to aggress, but Alcaraz, conversely, compared to Blaj, could make amazing use of orthodoxy because he had the economy to support it. So he could literally just finish every ballista in the queue right now. Queue up something like an onager or what else? What else? Yeah, what else is good? Maybe a ballista. He'd have to pay for the ballista, but you could sell a bunch of food, by the way, to pay for some
Yeah,
ballistas. Sell some of
yeah,
this metal. You don't need all of it to build the ballista. You just need a bunch, like maybe 4, and then just ortho rush another set of ballista on top of the 3 ballista, the 5 or 6 ballistas that just came out. Crazy. You could do crazy shit like that.
definitely. I'll unfortunately have to leave you here, but I'll look forward to see how this ends up continuing. It was a pleasure to cast a little bit. We will talk eventually, and hope you have a wonderful rest of the session to you and the stream. See you guys.
All right, thanks, Baldus. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you getting involved and playing along and commenting. It's one of my favorite things about the tournament so far. The involvement of the community has been just so great around this. We've had people stepping up to stream. We've had people creating save analysis and stat tracking apps, all sorts of great stuff, and really, really wonderful outpouring of showing of support from the community and from, of course, Mohawk themselves. Nearly every match that I have been involved in, whether as a spectator or a streamer, I've seen at least one member of the dev team with their eyes on this tournament. So it's really nice to have that community format forming around this event. It's just been absolutely delightful. Real joy for me. My favorite thing. I love this game. I love Old World, and there's nothing better than being able to talk about Old World or the things that you love with people who love the thing that you love. So, actually, on that note, if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, that sentiment extends to you. We appreciate you being here. Please give us a like, subscribe, and if you're not on Discord, I can't stress enough, hop on the Discord. That's where most of the conversation goes down. You can talk strategy, you can talk game theory, you can talk your greatest hits, you can bug the developers about the things that you don't like and then yell at them when they change it and you realize it was a bad idea. You can do all sorts of fun stuff like that. All right, we have a little wildfire coming in. Classic. I've called this out nearly every match. Just as the conflict starts to break out, there is a calamity of some kind nearby, whether it's an earthquake. One time we saw a couple elephants charge into a kingdom and an earthquake happened on the immediate next turn. It's almost as if the Stompy Boys shattered the earth as they entered the enemy territory. We had Aaron invading my coastline, met with a monsoon. We've had all sorts of it, and it's my absolute favorite time for a calamity to pop up. It's like an omen of doom coming into the old world, and it's just really cool. Now, this doesn't really do anything. It doesn't matter, but still, it's nice to see it show up and send a signal to the players that doom is coming. We are doing the awesome. Okay, so we did do the free archer. We did do the Blaj at the last second. We had battle. We had, what did we have? I can't remember. It wasn't doctrine. It was something else. Battle? No, we already had battle line. I forget what we had. But anyway, we cycled to, oh no, not infantry square, portcullis. Okay, so this is the other issue I have with this. We have infantry square 1600 science. Portcullis is 4. Stirrups is 6. So for 600 less science, we can get a 6 strength horseman, which is going to plow through your open field. Do we have a chariot around? We have one chariot coming online. Oh, yeah, man, I think horses would have been better. And, of course, then we have a scout of the ocean. We could dip into any one of these cities. I think Sabrata would be good. Neapolis would be good. Obviously, the capital would be good for science. But in terms of vision, you have this scout nearby. You could just dip down here and get yourself in a good position. One thing I like about the scouts too is that when they set up a network, they also hang on the map and extend their vision. So you could go to a corner like this, right? Stand here, take the scout, stand here, put the network in Thapsus so you can see perfectly of Thapsus, and then extend your vision a little bit further out through the scout vision towards Sabrata. You can do cheeky little things like that if you want, or maybe stand here and do Neapolis into Sabrata, those type of fun things. So infantry square, I think the thinking here is it's an 8th strength unit. It's going to really shut down those elephants, which is true. However, it's going to get obliterated. Oh, I can't speak. Obliterated by just a face full of ballista in a few turns. These ballista are going to be ready. There's going to be so many ballistas in the field by the time infantry square is finished, which is another reason why hopefully at some point, a couple turns into this, as we start seeing ballistas take the field, maybe Blaj will pivot off of infantry square and try to get himself more mounted units. All right. This is going to be a really tricky situation because Blaj needs to go full retreat here. If he leaves a tile open, one unit will be able to make landfall. All right, we have... This is going to be a disaster. I feel like what's going to happen is Blaj is going to attack, get this stuff low, maybe aggress a little bit. Oh, he is aggressing towards his opponent. It's nightmarish. And then we have, don't we have a ballista in the back? We have a ballista back here. We have one 3 turns away, another one 3 turns away, another one 2 turns away. So in about 4 or 5 turns, this is going to get staging, and I think Blaj is going to make a definitive push off of some of this weak stuff. He's going to end up in this field with a bunch of infantry, and then Alcaras is just going to demolish everything and then come in with elephants. Alcaras could use the Navy. Oh, we're aggressing further. We're going for a kill. What are we going to try and trade a slinger for it? Yeah, okay. That's not the worst. I guess 2 slingers for a onager. That seems worth it. That definitely seems worth it. Similar training cost and steeper resource cost for the onager. So little bit of an order tax there. Wow, this is a very aggressive scout. Okay, we have our first eye on a ballista. Really like this scouting. Really like popping in. And this, hopefully, the fact that we just spent orders on this will give Blaj a moment to do a rethink here and grab that portcullis text so he doesn't need to keep microing this. He would also know, if he had an agent network here, he would also know what that ballistas are coming online. That's the other most important thing about agent network. Just a handful of networks, how many agents do we have in Babylon? Just to double check, we had 4 last time I checked. Now we have 6. 7. We have 7 agents, potential agents, if we want them. Tons of them are heroes, by the way, speaking of treachery, since that was brought up earlier. And yeah, so we can extend our vision and really gain sight on what our opponent is building. And that, if we had that set up now, let's say we had this front line all with networked, we would see 3 ballistas being built right now. And again, that could help inform you with the strategic decision to pivot to a mounted unit and react to what your opponent is doing. Information is crucial in this game. And I think at this stage in the game, Blaj can afford the pivot, because not even a pivot. It gets him to a destination that he would be happy with, stirrups, or even all the way up into barding. He already had battle line. Get some cataphracts into the field. Again, very, very light on spears in Carthage. I'm pretty sure there's only 1 spear in the entire Carthaginian army, if I'm right about that. Let's take a peek. Here we are. There is literally 1 spear in Carthage. This is such a punishable position. This is such a punishable position. And Blaj, oh man. Blaj is so close. He's 2 turns away from this, and then he's like 6 turns away from this. Oh man. It's on to Alcaras now. We'll be curious if he takes portcullis, and he is. Oh no! And he's got 5 8. He's got 5. He's got all the economy in the world, and he has 5 scouts on the map. He can run around and get all these agent networks. He'll be able to start seeing the state of the Babylonian economy. He'll see this build up. Also, perfect timing, by the way, because this stuff is finally getting cleared out, so everything can finally migrate to the front line. So I get what you're saying now, Soren, about missing that window or attack. I think Alcaras is going to be fine here, though. Looks like we did some chopping. Yeah, man. This is going to be perfect map vision for Alcaras on the exact moment in the game that he's going to want to have perfect map vision. And I really think, I'm convinced, okay, so showing the ballista is probably, I mean, I guess your scout already spotted it, so whatever, you might as well get it close. That's actually a good point. But I'm kind of convinced Carthage is kind of flexing here, saying, yeah, come at me, man. I have more ballistas coming out in just a, this is all I have, just axes, a couple of onagers. You got this, you can take me, come get more kills. Come take more kills, no big deal. We'll see what are the power scores. They are still similar. Let's take a look at the power graph. And yeah, we have a rising tide of Carthage. Nope, that's science. Whoops, my bad. All right, so we still have a little bit of extra strength on Babylon for the moment, and Carthage is trailing slightly behind, but I suspect once those ballistas pop out, this is going to dip. This is probably going to leapfrog, and then especially after a strike killing a handful of units. How am I going to do this? Hold on. Adjust. I don't need my headset anymore. Headsets unfortunately give me migraines because for those of you who don't know, I'm hard of hearing. I can barely hear anything. Oh, I forgot to hang up on the call. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, we are back. Setting up some fortifications. Again, this feels a little baity to me because I feel like your opponent's going to not want to see this line up. But I guess they don't really have a choice. I feel like aggressing here would be a bad... Well, I only say that because I know there's about 6 ballistas coming out of build queues in the next couple of turns. But yeah, I know onagers in the back line. Not having any routing. Really going to kill us. Did we pivot yet? Did we pivot? No, we're still on infantry square for Blaj. Unfortunate. We did rush a chariot. This is the right idea. But in 6 turns, we could have horsemen. 6 turns, give or take. The game audio could be muted. I tend to keep it pretty low. Oh, it is muted. Yeah, great. My bad. Yeah, I play the game muted because 80% of the sound effects in this game, that's actually not true. It's the event, what are they called? Zingers? They give me a headache. When you click on all of these events, they pop up, and I don't know if you're getting that sound because I don't have my headset on, but so I apologize for the annoyance if that happened a bunch of times. But yeah, there's one in particular that has this awful like air horn blowing noise. It just goes like, and I swear to God, if I hear that 2 times in a row, if I get 2 events that plays that sound, I instantly get a headache. So Solver was nice enough to make me a little mod to disable those sound effects at my request, but I hate playing with mods because I'm very, very strange. So, but I do have that at my disposal, so thanks, Solver, for that. It did allow me to play for a little bit. I just ended up finding more and more sounds that irritate my hearing. But yes, thanks for calling that out, Fluffy. We do have sound back. I always forget after my personal sessions to turn the mute button back on. Or off, rather. So... Yeah, I actually use a chat bubble program to co-cast with people, which is really interesting. It does have the downside of putting a big text bubble on top of my old world screen. So sometimes if you see my cursor randomly moving around the map, it's me trying to move that text bubble around to get it out of the way of whatever it is I'm attempting to look at. Typically, I keep it right down here near the mini-map, but sometimes it gets in the way of tooltips or other stuff that I'm looking at. But it's pretty much the only way I can understand most people when chatting with them. Alcaras and Filthy speak too softly for me to understand them. I'm very, unfortunately, bad with accents. Pretty much the only person who I can understand the clearest is actually Fluffy. But even him, sometimes he'll say stuff, and I don't know what he's actually saying. But anyway, we are back here staring each other down. I suspect Blaj is going to take another Onager fire next turn and then maybe try to go for a kill here. But I really don't like this staging from Blaj here. I need a second screen. That's what I need, yes. I need a second screen for chat as well because I keep my phone on for chat, and I'm basically live streaming myself, so the chat is also delayed by whatever it is the delay on the live stream because I use my phone. It's on a little phone stand, and I use that for chat. I definitely need a second monitor, but you know, I'll have to get around to making that happen. Yeah, that's our resident Fluffy Bunny there. 3 screens operating 3 different instances of Old World at all times, making sure that no bug or wacky mechanic goes left unfound. We appreciate your service, dear Fluffy Bunny. I actually have a second monitor. It's just what I don't have is I lost when the last time I moved, I misplaced its power cord. So if I don't even need a second monitor. I literally just need to go to the local electronics store and find, or the internet, and find whatever adapter would appropriately be able to plug into that monitor. It's literally just been sitting underneath my computer desk being unused for the last year or two. But, you know, I mean, procrastination is a very, very, very real conundrum for me to deal with. I always have the best ideas. It's enacting them is typically the issue. All right, we're headed back to Carthage, I think. Oh no, wait. Yeah. Yeah, we should be finishing up this turn shortly with 0 orders left on Babylon. Yeah, man, 3 or 4 monitors, that's wild. But that makes sense, because you stream for a living, so I've seen streamer setups. I mean, I guess, actually, the amount I've been doing this tournament, I might as well do this for a living. So yeah, maybe I do need 3 or 4 monitors, come to think of it. All right, with 2 turns on portcullis for Alcaras. Let's see what he does here. He can take a shot and completely empty out that city. We are in Onager fire, though. He had a decision to either back this up or just, again, kind of keep with the idea of letting these units hang out here as a bait, see if he can pressure I mean, you'd be trading onagers. Maybe you don't want to be baiting with onagers. That's probably a bad idea. But yeah, no, he could either back up himself now that there are onagers on this coastline. This is a solid spot for onagers to be. Yep, and we are backing up. A little bit of a tango here. We're doing the siege engine tango between both players. A couple of creep forth, and your opponent backs off, and then the opponent gets onagers, and they creep forward, and then you back off, and a little passionate little dance between our star-crossed lovers here. Why can't peace and diplomacy win the day? Love this tile buying, getting ourselves the borders, getting ourselves the ability to heal, denying some heal for our opponent. We're going to collapse more borders around here as well. Now's the time to do it. That way we can get it out of the way now and get back to serfdom as quickly as possible for the orders. I mean, our order economy is solid. We have 51 income per turn, and 17, an additional 17 is currently being used. So that's 68 orders per turn for Alcaras. Whew. We'll also be completing an ambition shortly, getting another 10 legitimacy, which will be nice. Let's take a look at politics. Oh no, the riders have gotten very upset about something. Probably the fact that they swapped. We are converting. We're dealing with this right now. It swapped to paganism, so we're going to have to hard convert everybody. Yeah. Alcaraz did have a little bit of an advantage, but no real way to cross the bay. So, I mean, he took pot shots, and now his opponent has siege set up. We have ballistas coming on for Blaj. This, I mean, again, I wanna say that this is Blaj's game to lose. Blaj is going to be the person with his economic state. Let's take another check at the economy. Still negative 300. Gold. We're making better stone now, making better wood, decent food. So our economy is, clawing back. It's coming along nicely. We're building chariots, but we are not in a position to wonder spam. And so really, Alcaraz can play this safe. Keep posturing, keep building up forts, keep getting onagers set up. He does not need to aggress here because he has the economy he needs. We're at 36 points now. We need 20 points, right? So let's take a look at the wonder here. We're building the Yaz. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Legendary enabling us to build those wonders in 2 turns will be 19. And then here we go. Tingus down here, 4 turns, that's 20. So Alcaraz has everything he needs to win right now. Alcaraz can just play this safe, play this conservative, not pick a fight, shield himself behind ballista, onager, forts, and everything else he can muster, and hyperdrive his economy into... He's making 276 civic per turn, so he could pretty much, with his econ, he could almost start a wonder every turn. Yep, he could start the Necropolis next turn. He could start the Arpadana a couple turns later. And I would do these developing ones. I would do the Chthon, that would get him the ship that he needs. Yeah, man. If you can secure all of these wonders, just wonder spam. Maybe stockpile your economy to do it all in one fell swoop and surprise your opponent. He might be thinking for the Colosseum. The Colosseum's going to give him 15 training in his capital. And swordsman, which will be another anti-infantry unit that he can throw at his opponent without having to tech any of this. He could then make himself... put himself on the way to stirrups, barding. He has siege. He has onagers and hydraulics. That's nice. He'd get a swordsman for some extra anti-infantry. The hydraulics and swordsmen, all the anti-infantry he'll need. He could get himself up to Bodkin if he really wanted to, but he could go up to Stirrups and get more routing into the field, get to Martial Code for Holy War, which, oh man, the Carthaginian economy on Holy War would be frightening, and it gets him his bonus elephants. 2 more elephants in the field. So I think Alcaras is in a strong position to win this. And I think Blaj is in the position that he has to solve 2 puzzles, right? First, he can't let Alcaraz just turtle up and win off of points. So that's the first issue. And an extension of that, he needs to not mess up an aggressive move without being properly built up. So Blaj is on the clock here. Basically, he has a ticking clock on his side where he needs to get himself built up with a large enough force that could break into a line like this, or maybe blitz down to Cartena and come in this way, really throw this defensive establishment for a loop and create a different battlefield, maybe in these forests, shield yourself more from the ballista fire, things like that. That could be a very interesting play. Get yourself some ships. We do have a scout down here. Get yourself some ships, stage down in Kish. This is all, by the way, just for clarity, this is very extreme, like long-term play. Being able to stage down here for a surprise attack while also trying to build up your front line is a very, very unlikely scenario, given the way that troop movements and build. This is going to be 13. Oh, man. This is 45 right here. This is 45 lumber right here. Even more because the watermill's coming online. So there's probably about, God, this is probably about like 60 or 70 lumber right. Yeah. In 3 turns. Oh, looks like I got disconnected, but hopefully we'll log back in. In 3 turns, we'll probably be over 100 wood. Yeah, we have more wood down here getting built. Yeah, we're going to be swimming in econ. All of our econ is going to be well over 200 in short order, and Alcaraz can cruise to victory. I don't want to make it seem like it's so far gone that it's bound to happen. And of course, plenty of excitement could happen between now and then. Excuse me. We have seen some fascinating and surprising upsets before. In fact, even in this very match with the initial invasion of Dur-Otharo, everybody who was watching that in the chat at the time live thought that Carthage was going to simply steamroll over Babylon, but Blaj had some thoughts about that. All right, let's take a look at some stats while we are in this interim phase. We have 44 orders left. Given the delay here of turn taking, oh no, we just cleared. We just killed a unit. We're settling. Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna settle the city. That makes sense. The peninsula is finally fully cleared and settled. We have rebels popping up. Can we resolve this? Maybe a dip into... Oh, we don't want to dip into freedom because our economy. Although, you know, we could probably afford that. Wait, 51 of our 67 metal is coming from this law, so perhaps never mind. What's our rebel chance in this city? 10? 10, yeah, that would cut that in half, though. Veneration on the Jewish faith, though. I don't hate that. That's... Oh, we're spamming Jewish disciples. Okay. I don't know. Did we get orthodoxy? No, because we didn't get doctrine. We pivoted out of doctrine. I wonder if Blaj didn't realize he can adopt his pagan faith as state religion. Although maybe he wanted the theologies. Maybe that's why he did this. But I guess he just doesn't have the economy for rush potential, huh? All right. Nearly 20 of you in the chat with us live. Appreciate you being here. If you're catching up on YouTube, appreciate you being here as well. This is a fantastic time to be playing Old World. Ballistas as far as the eyes can see. Nearly every single build queue building a ballista. That is horrifying. That is horrifying. Compared to the Babylonian build queues, what do we got? We have we have a ballista, a chariot, a spearman, and we have some decisions to make for the rest of the Empire. We'll check back in on that at some point. So yeah, let's take a peek at some stats here. Did I not get reconnected? I think I got disconnected. I'm going to check in on this. I'm going to see if I can rejoin, because I have trouble rejoining here. Sometimes. Normally, I've been having issue with the games that are live not showing up in this menu. Yeah. All right, I'm going to communicate to the players and get them to rehost at the end of their next save. Looks like I might be having streaming issues as well. My chat log is loading up. Oh, no, we're still live. Okay, we're still live. Okay, we're still live. Yeah, all right, so we are communicated to the players. And we'll get ourselves back in the game. Yeah, so I have the issue that even though they're I'm assuming they're still playing right now. So if I leave the game, I can't join an active game again. And it's weird because only I've been having this issue. I've seen Nazar leave a game and like load back into the game while it's ongoing. But if I do it, the game never populates in this list. And it's quite frustrating as a spectator. See, now there's no games. It's very weird. I'm not sure how that works. I mentioned it to Alex, and he just kind of shrugged and said that's their server. That's Unity for them, I guess. All right. Well, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. We will get back to the action shortly, and if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to skip ahead until you see the game screen. I'll probably take this opportunity to get up and get myself a glass of water. So I apologize that we'll be staring at the lovely Old World login screen here. But, yeah. Doing the best we can, I suppose. Maybe I'll call Alcaras. Maybe that'll be more efficient. Give him a call here. All right, I got their attention. We are making progress. All right, great. All right, Alcaras is aware, and we are getting that rehost now. They're gonna pause it. And again, a huge shout out to our players. The other thing that makes this happen, we've gotten a lot of credit for taking the time to stream and cast these matches and commentate. And, of course, that's a lot of time commitment and effort and energy and whatnot. And a huge shout out to all the people who have been joining in on that. We've had lots of player community members who have created streams for the first time. We have Filthy Robot showing up from the past. He was a big old world player, and he's come out of the woodwork for the tournament and has lent his thoughts and time to streaming. So really, really a lot of great effort around here. Do I keep going to single player? There we go. There we go. And so that's all amazing and awesome. But the other... Why is that not working? There we go. The other aspect of this, though, is that our players need to make time to schedule these matches, to play live. We have players all across the world, across different time zones. Some players are 12 hours apart, so you have players playing in the morning. All right, I'm going to let them know. Okay. All right. Yeah, we have some players that are 12 hours apart. So we have players playing in the morning versus players playing at the evening. And it's just been a real big effort on the players to get this started. And of course, we consider it a deep courtesy. We did not codify it as a requirement of the tournament, but we'll probably do that in the future. But we considered it a courtesy to even allow spectators to stream these live games. That was the goal, mind you, but we didn't feel like pressuring players to have their game recorded and commented and nitpicked on if they didn't really want to. I think ultimately we were expecting that the final matches, the last couple of matches of the tournament, would certainly get video footage, but we've managed to cover nearly every single match of this game, and that's been by both the commitment of our casters as well as the commitment of our players to make this all happen. So we are good to go, and we are back in. Alcaras has stopped in the middle of his turn. And I'll just reminder. There we go. All right, there we go. We are back at it. Timer has resumed. And doesn't look like we missed anything other than an onager fire and some tile buying. Really like to see this reaction from Blaj here. We have tile buying happening on your front line, and Blaj immediately responding with, oh yeah, it would be nice? Some hunter territory on my front line on this battlefield as well. So really cool reaction there, adaptation from Blaj to the unfolding scenario. Really shitty time for the riders to go pagan. This could have influenced his desire to fall back a little bit as well, by the way. That can amount to about a 20-point power shift if you lose your power. Okay. All right. Are we still muted? All right, I want to make sure that that was saved after logging out. All right, we're 2 turns on land consolidation now for Alcaras. Let's see, did we go around and set up a bunch of networks on this turn? We got our... Oh, we're doing an infiltrate nation. Interesting. Get itself a clear view of everything. We're also going to figure out if this was settled, but I'm sure the point total will let us know that. But so we'll infiltrate, reveal the rest of the map. That's decent, fun use of that ability. And we've established a network. Oh, yeah! How about that? 10 science per turn off of Babylon's crazy. What? That's a 10 science per turn. Agent. Off of only 16 science. That's wild. Nice. Yeah, man. I feel like comparatively, if that capital is 16 science generating, I mean, it is pleased, so they're the modifier boost here, right? But I feel like an agent for Blaj in Carthago would be huge if Alcaras is able to get 10 off of 16 science, and his capital is working with 15. Sorry, 53. Would be interesting. Now would be the moment to see if we can see some treacheries unfold. We certainly have the income to make that happen. Oh, we are doing it! Soren Johnson! Here is the moment. Solver. For those of you wondering if we've seen any treacheries in the tournament, thus far, we have one coming on online. Now. We have another agent network. Where are you? Where are you? You're here? We could do another. Oh, we can start really disrupting some things. Love to see it. Love to see it. We do have a crossbow. Where the hell did this guy come from? Oh, did he get the free crossbow event? Yeah, he did. Nice. He got the Merc crossbow. That's clutch. He's going to need that. Solid, solid, solid. Still, though, check this out. This ballista will shred this. This is a crossbow and 10 damage from a ballista. Ballistas don't give a shit about infantry. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. How are we doing on power graph? Similar and competent. Let's look at the actual power score. Still a slight edge on Blaj. 400 points. Ooh. We don't have the economy for this, really. I don't want to dump resources into that, so I guess we take the opinion hit. "11 cities on Carthage to 14 on Blaj now that he's fully expanded across the map." So that's wild. By not having... Wow, Blaj absolutely did not need to waste time on this peninsula, because even from a raw city's perspective, Blaj had 11 and Alcaras had 11. So without even having this peninsula, Blaj had all of the... He had parity across build queues. And I feel like this probably was a waste of effort to expand down here into the southern peninsula when you could have maybe just been killing your opponent. Especially with a 10 strength zealot that's been on the throne for some time. Nearly 10 years. But I think the window might have been shut back then. Oh. Oh, man, that's funny.
I'm going to get ready right now.
Oh, cool. All right.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know. I have it strapped to my neck because my stand broke. Forgive me, I had a visitor in my office. All right, 19 orders left on Blaj. Some still staging. I mean, Onagers on Hills, man. It doesn't get better than that. Well, you know what? It actually does get better than Onagers on Hills. You know what's better than Onagers on Hills? Mangonels on Hills. The Mangonel would be able to reach all the way back here. I still don't think that this radius is bright enough. Especially as the defender. If I'm Carthage, I hover over this thing. I mean, I guess it shows me the actual damage. I just hate this dotted line because what I think of about, like, look at this arid, right? This is a criticism I have. Maybe I'm colorblind, but I can barely see that, right? So if I'm trying to move out into this territory, what I want to know is where the danger zone for this onager is. And of course I can just count tiles, but the easiest way to do that is to hover over the onager and look at the fire. Of course, you have this screen as well, right? You can hit this button and this shows you the attack range of units. So that also does the job. But sometimes you run into issues of like maybe this guy is exerting this control, but the brunt of the fire is back here. So like I think it's helpful to maybe try and get a better sense of where these things can hit. But yeah, that's really hard to see. Oh well. Fortunately, I am not the one playing the game, so I don't need to worry about where those onagers can hit. Curious about, we now have 10 siege units in Carthage. Well, about 6 onagers, 4 ballistas. Fantastic. Now, if we look over to... hey, here's a suggestion. And if there is one, let me know. But when I'm on a menu, right, this, like, so we have 3 siege on Babylon, but for, I don't know, Fluffy or Solver, or probably Solver, or maybe Blue or someone, I don't know. Anyway, is there a hotkey for me to swap as a spectator between both players? Because what I find annoying here is if I'm trying to compare siege numbers, right? Like these 3 onagers to Carthage's 10. As far as I'm aware, what I need to do is either click on this or, you know, hotkey over to this, right? And then alt-click onto Carthage, right? And then click and or hotkey back over, right? So if there would be a way for me to just hit a button to swap directly from this perspective to Babylon's perspective, that would be delightful. 2 more technologies, then we will have an ambition in Carthage. Running influence missions. I like that idea. We're also still running convert missions as well. Trying to deal with this opinion issue, which makes sense. And once we convert, we'll also be able to intercess. I mean, she's 55 years old, so she will not be long for this world, which is unfortunate, but... You know, such is life in the old world. People die. Life is fleeting. The gods have a cruel sense of humor and a perverse sense of justice. All right, what else do we have going on here? Wow, look at all the pins for mills. We have, oh, by the way, another stat check. We have over 200 science per turn, over nearly 300 civics per turn. Our wood has jumped over to 100 to over 100 per turn. Our food took a little bit of a dip under 200, probably because of all the elephants coming out, but that's fine. We can rectify that if we need to. We have a nice solid stockpile as well. So I feel like in terms of the economic powerhouse situation, Alcaras is just sitting pretty here, and Blaj is still playing catch up. Still has to get this gold situation under control. I mean, I guess not technically. You could just float this with resources for the rest of the game as well. But that's kind of bad news to do that against a wealthy Carthage, because Look at this food price. Not only does Carthage not need food, but if he ever did, he'd be able to buy so much food with the amount of gold he has. He could essentially give himself 300 food, an extra 300 food per turn for quite a while. So that's crazy. Crazy. Are we doing more wonders yet? Yeah, we started the Yaz. Yeah, we're going. Oh no, we already were working on the Yaz. The Yaz is almost finished. So no progress on the Apadana. Oh, here we go. No, we have the. I didn't see it at the bottom. We have the museum. No, sorry, the Colosseum has been begun. Alcaras did begin the Colosseum. He is legendary. Let's take a legendary progress chat. Oh yeah. 45 turns until Babylon is legendary. This is not great. So this is an extra 6 points secured that Blaj cannot steal. And then yeah, if we can just get Necropolis, Abaddon, Mausoleum, Acropolis, and Chthon. If we could just get all of those wonders, we'll win. We can 2-turn Decree 3. Really nice to see that. All right. I apologize for taking another break here, but Blaj is going to take a second, so I'm also going to get myself a quick break as well, because I was going to do that while we were having technical difficulties, but now that we have that sorted out, I'll take my I'll take my opportunity to do that now. And I'm going to make a mess of everything in the meantime. There we go. All right, let's see if I can figure this out again. How the hell did I even do this in the first place? I've made an absolute mess of my current mic situation. How did I do this? probably should have muted this while I was doing that. My apologies. We're figuring it out. All right, I just want to double check that people are still live with me in the chat, and that I sound okay now that I'm back strapped into this weird contraption. Yeah, I need a new mic stand. This is dreadful. Yeah, the other noise, thanks, Aaron. The other noise will stop once I stop moving. I'm just trying to get this stupid thing set up. All right. So it should be good now. Thanks for confirming. And I apologize for all the hustle and bustle. I'll go out and get a new mic stand by next week. I thought that this one would last, but the mic itself is fantastic, but the stand is crappy, and it broke on me this morning in the middle of casting a different match. And it's been gradually migrating towards my face for quite some time now, so I should have just resolved it. All right. Curious, I wanted to look at unit productions here. That's always a fun stat. Military units produced. 50 military units produced by Babylon, and Carthage has built only 37. Mic stands aren't load-bearing structures, yeah. This is one of those ones that you can like attach to the table. Like there's like a thing, a little screw thing that I just lock onto the table, and that ended up busting. And so let's look at other stats. Neck and neck in technology. Alcaras has caught up. Let's not forget that they are competent now, but at one point Babylon was erudite for most of the game, so the tech advantage that Babylon has had has evaporated here. Let's take a look at some other fun stats. 200 improvements controlled for 144 for Babylon, so this explains some of the economic benefits. An extra 65 or 70 improvements for Carthage here. Babylon has caught up in worker count. Only a gap of 6 now. Specialists, still more specialists than Babylon compared to Carthage. This is wild. Look at this. They had both very, very long-lived schemer rulers. Look at this absolute catastrophic tank in legitimacy in the mid-game. Both players, Blaj spent 70-something, 72, 74 legitimacy on orders. Yeah, 74 on orders, and Alcaras spent 92. So they're both now in the first half of that game, that of any game, right? Schemers are one of the most powerful opening archetypes because you kind of trade that late game legitimacy and orders for a huge burst of early game momentum. But yeah, now I feel like that kind of changes, the math for that changes up past turn 50, right? You want to set yourself up for a strong advantage there. And both players are losing more than 6 orders per turn, more than 7 orders per turn every turn. And of course, taking the political hit, Babylon politics. Look at this. If we had at least an extra 74 legitimacy, we would still be upset, but we wouldn't be angry. So that's something, right? Wild. But, wait a minute. I'm actually curious about that. Oh, so if we can start converting, the Jewish faith loves us. So actually, would be better served to fully convert to Judaism, interestingly enough. And Carthage, how's the political situation in Carthage? Politics in Carthage is still fine. Should be just a couple turns away. Should be just a couple turns away before the Barcids, the Riders family in Carthage, convert to Zoro. It should convert every 4 turns. Also, currently happening on this Sunday, we have a 4 versus 4 one city challenge team game playing. And I'm just looking at the Discord, and I feel compelled to call that out. Unfortunately, I really would love the idea of being able to cast and spectate that. I would love some video footage of that. That seems like such a wild format. And just for clarity on that, it is 4 players on one team, each controlling a single nation with a single city. And that's it, right? It's just one city challenge for each player. And so it's a team of 4 versus another team. And of course, it's Jam's birthday. So happy birthday, Jams, if you happen to catch up on this match at all. So speaking to you from the past on your birthday stream. Sorry that I can't be there to view it. Maybe I'll pop in real quick at some point and wish you happy birthday in chat. Hope it's going well. We have another barbarian. I feel like we just killed one here. Not barbarian, rebel in Babylon. Yeah, lots and lots of old world activity happening this weekend. Huge spike in interactivity. I think the tournament has helped with that, not even just the competitive aspect. We have players playing team games now. We have more players communicating. You know, I think that's one of the nice things about the multiplayer format is that, you know, once you, God damn it, once you, if you play a game and you have a good game with a nice opponent, whether you win or lose, you know, you just have a fun time. That helps make a friend that plays the game. And, you know, that's exactly how I started playing multiplayer. I am not a multiplayer person at heart. I largely consider this genre very much a single player genre, because where most of my time and attention in this genre has been focused for the last several years. But Alcaras was friendly enough to give me a chill invitation to play a couple games with him, and I've basically been playing multiplayer off and on ever since. And that led to me being involved in this tournament, so that's pretty cool. Pretty interesting progression there about how just the conversation getting started, just encountering, you know, developing the ability to play a game with a player can really just open up your experience to playing the games that you like. And of course, we have lots of players learning more and more about the game. Lots of conversation on Discord about strategies and tactics and how to play. And of course, your fair share of nitpicking as well. Balance tweaks, balance changes, event criticisms, and tournament format thoughts, and all sorts of fun stuff. The best of all worlds. Will be very interesting to see how things evolve moving forward. Doctrine in 3 turns from Alcaras. So he can hyperdrive a rush economy now. He absolutely has the economy to deal with it. He could just, between Doctrine and Martial Code, I feel like Alcaras could just absorb Blaj in a with a tidal wave of units. We do have a zealot on the throne. That's the other thing. I really think we maybe missed an opportunity with the zealot. This zealot does massive damage, though. Look at this: 10 damage to the ballista, 11 to a slinger. That's crazy. 8 to an. Is this an 8 strength unit? No, that's a 6.4. With our 8 strength. With our 8 strength. Do we not have 8 strength units? Oh God, Alcaras is just now. Does he not have a single 8th strength unit? Wild. Doesn't look like it. Crazy. Yeah, they're all 6 strength. Wild. All right, classic onager line forming here. And Alcaraz can afford to be a little risky with this placement because he doesn't really see, there's 1 chariot, not much else. 2 chariots. We have eyes on these chariots. 1 more year. Very, very excited to see if this pops off. Hopefully I remember to check, but very excited to see if this treachery pops off. No horse here. That's going to drive me nuts. Oh, wow, yeah. After finishing all these lumber mills, we're now at 173 lumber per turn. Massive swing in production there. Just a few turns ago. And that's the thing about this game. With just a little bit of dedicated effort, with a little bit of elbow grease, you can go from negative of a resource, which we were, like, maybe we can track that, right? Yeah. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Look at this! Guys, I can't believe this. This is amazing. Look at this. Negative 21 wood per turn on turn 83. Up to 40 on turn 85. So yeah, on turn 85. So look at this. In one turn, that's a 60-point boost. From 84. 84 is negative 23. 85 is 40. 86 is 72. And here we are on 87, 118. So that is 3 turns. In 3 turns, we went from a negative number to over 100, nearly 200 in a number. And this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about when I say how all you need to do is just take a dedicated push. Get every worker you have in the vicinity on the tiles that you need. Build your mills, both lumber mills and windmills, right? But hyperfixate on your deficit, and it will just slingshot back up in just 1 or 2 cycles of working, right? So that's 3, anywhere from 3 to as many as 8 turns, depending on what you're building on and on what tile. And you can completely rebound your economic situation in a particular yield if you focus on it. Wow, yeah, so we have more lumber mills down here, and this is exactly the type of stuff that I've talked about in the past. Pretty much every single worker, nearly every worker, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Half of our workers, of our 20 some odd workers, have been building lumber, resolving our wood situation in the last, 4 or so turns. And that's how you get those big economic swings. Love to see that. Love to see that focused. $15 turns on the Coliseum, 3 turns on the Yaz. Let's look at stockpiles here. I mean, we have plenty of buildup. We can keep building things up, but I kind of... Oh, actually, I want to check the dynasty now for Carthage, too. Any builders show up? No. Judge, Scholar, Hero. We have an heir here. She is a philosopher student. Man, I think if we get a builder, it would be awesome to just abdicate and just worker spam. Like, stockpile yourself up to enough wonders that you need, or maybe, like, not even stockpile, like, kick each wonder off, you know, get them started as quickly as you can, and then once you have the last one started, abdicate into a builder and just worker stack to the finish line. There's no way, as long as you secured every wonder, there's no way I don't think that someone could counter that fast enough. Also, let's look at our points for cities. We have Tingus coming online and nothing else really close. We could always try vaulting. That could be an interesting grab. A calligraphy finish. Calligraphy would probably scoot these all up to strong in about half the time, to be totally honest. Let's look at any one of them. Leptis Magna. Oh, yeah. It's making 14 now, so calligraphy is what, 10? Calligraphy is insane these days. Yeah, it's 10 culture per turn. That nearly doubles the culture output in that city. Ooh. Yeah, probably 50% culture increase in all cities would be basically what it is. You combo that. Fun fact, we do have the Mausoleum in the game, right? Which is a 50% culture boost. And this actually synergizes. The Mausoleum and the flat culture yield from calligraphy it actually stacks. So all of your cities would have 15 culture per turn. Alcaras' culture rate would be insane if he did both of that. And that is a viable strategy. That is a viable tactic to finish out a game, you know? I know as a viewer, we're always itching for that, climactic penultimate fight. But if you secure yourself a strong defensible position and you have a path towards victory, there's really no reason not to sit back and try and build up and force your opponent to make a mistake. Put your opponent in the position where they have to aggress against you or get their own economic situation, start building their own wonders in order to deny that victory. Interesting that we're seeing so much economic buildup here. We're seeing lots of disciples. Several cities are building disciples here. Not a lot of building a military unit. Conversely, Alcaras is just full bore into his... And of course, he doesn't need to, right? He has double of all of the stats of pretty much everything that Blaj has. Or certainly more, if not double. Certainly has more than all of the income, more than the gold, more than the science, more than the civics. I'm curious about training. Probably not, because of that beefy zealot. And he's also building everything. So yeah, significantly less training, but all of those training is being transformed into ballistas. So who cares? Interesting. Five turns on infantry square now. So let's take a look at our infantry, I suppose. In that case, we have every single... I actually forgot. Axemen and Macemen can all upgrade into spears. So if we really wanted to, we could end up with 15 pikemen. We don't have the economy to do that, just mind you. We have all the training in the world, but we don't have the economy for a mass upgrade spike like that. But in terms of potential power, we could start with the spearmen. Or honestly, I don't know. I don't think I've ever quite looked at how much damage an axe does to a pikeman, to be totally honest. I'm sure somebody can share that fact with me. Running council here. Ooh, nice. Hunt. That's always fun. Hunt 2. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. I wonder why we think we need the hunt. Maybe more horse units? Do we have any gold anywhere? Interestingly enough, this is a map that has very few income resources. The nets are all mostly growth. There's pearls right here. I'm not seeing... I might actually have to toggle on the resource. Wow, this is the most sparse I've seen a map devoid of income resources. There's no gold, there's no silver that I can spot. There's only one pearl on the entire map that I can tell. Oh, there's silver down here. Okay, so there's silver in this location right here. Okay. Wild. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh, I apologize for the silence. I was reading something. Wow. All right. Let's review some stats here. I want to look at these orders. So they're both neck and neck on orders. I'm curious. We have 51 per turn in Carthage, with about 20 being spent into workers. And for Babylon, we have about 41 per turn with 17. So there's a slight advantage on orders for Alcaras at the moment, but pretty close otherwise. And we've almost caught up with our Judaism thread. That's another reason why we are going to have this opinion hit. Yeah, we have one. So for those of you who don't know, you get 20 opinion, but it only lasts for 20 years. So we're currently getting plus 100 opinion just because we've spammed disciples and spread our faith a whole bunch. But that's always a nifty way to bomb your religious opinion up high. But again, it is temporary. It will decay after 20 years. Let's check out some more stats. Oh, we have Christianity hit the field. When did that happen? Did that just get founded? Yeah, year 88. So the Christians have joined the fray. Be curious to see what he chooses to do with this. He's probably going to send it to Carthago. and maybe spread Christianity all around the world. Yep. What? How much? One turn Christian disciples. Is he gonna actually spend the resources and swap religions? I feel like that would be a bad idea. But you know, Alcaras likes his maximum potential, so I would not put it past him. I'd like to see the civics be dumped to wonders instead, but yeah, can't fault him for that. The Yaz is about to come online, so you really want to keep your state religion churning out civics. That's going to be really nice Yaz. It does 6 civics in the capital alone. It'll do another 20%. Wow, yeah. 67 civics in the statesman seat. That's nice. Crazy, crazy. All right, so let's... Family opinion. No, I want legitimacy we checked already. Military score. Alcaraz is bridging that gap. One more turn. I suspect one more turn, and he'll probably overtake his opponent. 1 or 2 more turns. Civics output is massive. Massive difference. 300 income per turn in Carthage. Wild. Yeah, this is a real big pickle for Blaj. If he could secure a wonder or 2, that would give him more time. But Christianity... Actually, you know what? Do we have the religious wonders? We do, yeah, but Christianity just gives us another 2 victory points. Come to think of it. Manichaeism is up in the air. It'll be interesting to see who gets that. I believe it's random. There's a presumption that Manichaeism will favor whoever has the fewest amount of religions, but I don't believe that actually is the case. I think it just will go default to who doesn't have any religion. So Babylon would get it if they didn't already have Judaism. But otherwise, I think it's one of those things that comes down to a coin toss at this stage in the game. Since both players have, I believe, right? Both players do have monasticism, yeah, which is all you need to found the religion. Ooh, excuse me. I've had such an exciting weekend of old world play. I had plans this weekend too, right? I was supposed to do something. I was supposed to have no old world whatsoever yesterday. I was supposed to spend my entire day. I had 10 or 12 hours slotted to play Twilight Imperium. That's right, 10 hours to play one board game. That's what I was going to do with my time. But unfortunately, we had 2 different people cancel for different reasons, and I could have hosted another game day, but I used it as an opportunity to just plug back into Old World, because Twilight Imperium is not fun unless you have at least 5 players. It requires 6 to play, but it can be played well with 5. Anything less than 5, and I think it throws off the dynamics of that game. So here I am. I've been tuned into Old World all weekend, and I'm so wired up that I've barely been sleeping. So I apologize for if I'm a little more hectic today than usual, or if you hear the occasional yawn or whatever, because I'm just amped, man. I'm amped for this tournament. There's like 10 games left to go after this one. these final matches have all been awesome to watch. Nice. We have some Babylonian scouting of this front line. I really love this. Surveying the damage. Oh man, I'm so glad. Something as simple as this I want to be in the highlight reel. Come on, take one more step, buddy. You can do it. That's really, really great. Taking a peek, saying hello. Sending an emissary to the Carthaginians. Let there be peace and love on our island. There is room enough for both of us. And it seems like Carthage tells them no, so we have ran back to the safety of our proud city of Durathar'a. And yes, the treachery mission went off. I want to look at Carthage. Did we lose the network? I don't think we did, because I don't think you lose the network if the damage goes on. And we're doing it again. So this is it. Now I can actually talk about this. So I've said this in chat, in Discord already, but so with this being successful, what we need to do is repair 3 times. We've already repaired once, and we have 2 more repairs to get back to full health. That's exactly how many repairs it takes to get full. Technically, it just takes 2 because you end with, well, wait, no. It takes 3. Yeah, 3 because it ends you on 19 damage. But here's the thing. So you do 3 repairs, you get yourself up to 19 damage. Or am I doing that wrong? Whatever, it's 2 or 3 repairs and you get close to 20 health. But the point is, either way, you are not at absolute full health until 3 turns. And the treachery mission takes 3 turns. So theoretically, you can spam treachery indefinitely, nearly completely disabling a build queue. Now, the issue with treachery is that it's not guaranteed, right? It's that it has a relatively low chance of succeeding. It often sits between 30 to 40% chance to succeed, but that's only the damage portion. If you do a treachery and your network is exposed, in which case that means you need to spend resources to set it back up, that still adds a level of discontent to your city. So when we're Babylon and we're looking at pretty precarious opinion in the first place, another discontent in the city would be another minus 20 opinion. So if you combine, I wish I could actually look at the stats here for you. How would I do this? Click on you. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So this is how it works out. It's a 38% chance to get this city queue disabled. It's going to be negative 10 HP to the city, causing you to repair it for 2 or 3 turns. And then the treachery could just come back next turn. So this is basically 1 in 3 chance, a little bit better than a 1 in 3 chance every 3 turns that your opponent's going to have to stop what they're doing and repair a build queue. So that's amazing. However, treachery exposed is 21% chance, right? And that's for the extra discontent. What this means is there is a 50% chance to mess with your opponent. And I agree with Soren Johnson that I think people are sleeping on this mechanic because it doesn't need to succeed every single time in terms of damage. Either one of those options on the 50% is not bad. And if it fails and you lose the character, well, whatever, you just try again. There's nothing wrong with it not succeeding. It doesn't have to a thing doesn't always have to be successful for it to be an interesting option, an interesting tool in the toolbox, right? Low chances, a 33% chance, or a little bit higher than that, of disabling a build queue every couple of turns is not nothing in my opinion, and I think that's well worth 400 gold. When we're swimming in economy like we are with Carthage. I'm curious if we're at treachery anywhere else. How much would this do? So this actually, I can talk about this with, so this is an example. Wait a minute, what? This is another good, this is exactly 33% of each. Oh, no, wait, no, this is just treachery exposed. So this is an example of a treachery mission you don't want to run because this character has crappy stats, right? No courage whatsoever. Treachery hinges on courage. So in this case, You don't even have the damage potential, it looks like, which doesn't seem right to me, but apparently that might be right. Why am I not? Yeah, anyway. So yeah, you don't want to do it with your high wisdom characters. Your high wisdom characters are better for siphoning yields, if you can. But anybody with courage, um, particular courtiers, court soldiers are always good. Yeah, you can do some serious damage to some build queues. Really, and if nothing else, it's morale damage, right? Because this is just annoying, and there's very little counterplay to this. Which is actually the reason why I think it's balanced out by the fact that it's not immediately successful. It's not a guaranteed thing. I think it's relatively, quote unquote fair, if you want to call it that, Alcaras is investing resource in this for only a chance that this might happen. Only 33 chance that the damage happens, or 20% chance that a discontent level hits. And the reason why I think that works out is because effectively there's next to zero counterplay to the strategy. So in that lens, it does make it sense for it to be more of a gamble on the part of the person doing this harass against their opponent, because short of getting scholarship and running exposed network, there's really not much you can do about it. Maybe. Yeah, someone from chat saying with the new rebel mechanic, it might make sense to run insurrection. This is really difficult to assess because I feel like there aren't enough rebels. If this was like 2 or 3 rebels, I think it might make sense. But with just 1 rebel, it normally get interest, which is still it will get instantly killed, which is still an order tax. Normally, it takes about 3 orders to kill something. A little bit more if you have to move units, so that can still be annoying. You could do an insurrection for your backline cities right here, like putting units in the back here. But I feel like I haven't explored it enough. It's certainly not in a multiplayer context because jurisprudence is such a late tech. So I haven't explored it enough to see if it's viable. What I would love to see, though, I think would be really cool. We have an insurrection chance of revolt. I would love to see Behind the Throne having a unique insurrection event. I don't know if it exists because, again, I don't run this mission enough to find out. But it would be cool if Behind the Throne that introduced the rebellion mechanic, if there were an event tucked away in this to force your opponent into a rebellion. I think that would be very, very neat to have that interaction kind of force a rebellion. Obviously, have that event only like be able to fire once in a game. But I think that could be really, really interesting way to harass your opponent and force them into a rebellion, or force them into an uncrowned king situation where they might need to have to choose whether to abdicate. Like a civil war, basically. Choose whether to abdicate the throne in lieu of the whatever character gets generated for that civil war. I think that would be really, really fun to explore that mechanic and add another layer of that espionage element to the game and to this event in particular. And again, have the rebellion event just be a once in a game deal, because being able to force your opponent into rebellion constantly naturally wouldn't make a bunch of sense. But having one opportunity to force... I also think assassinations should be legal against enemy units. Sorry, not enemy units. Enemy opponents. Rulers. But I understand how that's problematic. However, I think it would be neat if players could assassinate a foreign ruler in a multiplayer match at least once per game. That would give you, as a player, the opportunity to look at Portcullis as an avenue to control the game state, in addition to, the vision and everything else that applies. It could be interesting to decide, oh, hey, I don't want my opponent to have this super beefy zealot on the throne, so I'm going to kill it, right? But by making it a one-time decision where, and still apply all the same rules of, percent chance of whether it succeeds or not, but basically have the event that fires to kill a ruler only happen once in a game, right? What I think that would be interesting to this game from a espionage perspective is that then you're given the choice of if and when you get portcullis, what leader you want to target, because you're only ever going to get one choice. So, for example, maybe the zealot is the correct choice, but maybe 10 turns from now, you get a crazy hero on the throne that you can't do anything about. Or, maybe the zealot on this throne right now would be a really, really good idea, but maybe in the first half of the game, Alcaras would have chosen to assassinate his opponent's schemer earlier in the game, right? Giving himself edge there. But now he would have a trade-off where it's now later in the game and they're worried about fighting, and there's the beefy zealot on the throne. So I think it would make a very, very interesting strategic consideration if players were able to kill rulers, but were only able to do it once in a given game. Also, I think it would just be absolutely hilarious to have your perfectly groomed heir take the throne and then have your opponent just flip you the bird with portcullis of all things. That would be just so troll and delightful. Our opponents are coming to the final turn of this session, so more build-up, very, very strong position. Complete 180 from the last session that I cast, where Alcaras seemed to have blundered his game away almost and really ceded momentum to his opponent. Now we have the complete reverse, where it looks like Blaj is the one who seems to have ceded momentum to his opponent. There is an impenetrable line of defenses bordering Carthage, more ballistas coming online, not enough horses to deal with them for Babylon rather, still dealing with a gold deficit. So I think we will cruise into, what is this? Session 3? So is it session 3 or session 4? I can't remember. Well, I don't know. We're either going into part 3 or part 4. I can't remember which one. Or part 4 or part 5. I don't know. I need a nap. But the good news is there will be more old world for us to watch, more exciting developments to unfold, and we'll have to see if Alcaras can wonder spam his way to victory or if he's going to fight for it. 13 turns on the Colosseum, so we will have a sword, which is going to be funny because we're 3 turns away from infantry square, and I swear, let's grab a ballista. Where's my nearest ballista? Where's that crossbow? With the crossbow. Well, this is a Cimmerian. 8 damage to this guy from a ballista. Where is the crossbow? God, all of the icons look the same. I thought we had a crossbow in Babylon, but it looks like I've lost it. Oh, here it is. It's up here. 10 damage to the crossbow here. So that's going to be the trouble, is like Blaj is about to upgrade himself into 8 strength pikes, which are still going to get chunked for 8 to 10 damage from ballistas. So I think he did a serious misplay there by pivoting to infantry square. Because in terms of the routing, right? Especially because Alcaras still doesn't even have 8 strength units. He's just starting to get 8 strength units now, right? But still, this is an 8 strength unit. I'm grabbing an 8 strength turreted elephant, right? No, that's a 6 strength. Where the hell are the 8 strength units? Oh no, this is the correct unit. It's because they were upset. That's why it's not showing 8 strength. I'm a fool. Yeah, so they do 8 damage to the spears, which is a lot, but they also will still get blocked. Actually, you know what? Elephants don't even ignore zone of control anyway, so you don't even need the spears for zone locking. All right, let's do a quick summary of the game state. The main yields we care about. Science, Carthage has come on, blowing Babylon out of the water in terms of science rate. Just 150-ish 50-ish science, 60 or 50 science of from between before Alcaraz crosses this threshold and starts overtaking Blaj in terms of science. Order economy, both solidly holding at about 46, 36. I think in total, plus or minus work returns, we're looking at about 60, 70 orders for each player. Military score, Alcaraz has finally bridged this gap as well. Look at this just steady rise in momentum, matching his opponent. Steady rise in science, surpassing his opponent. Really, really great stuff. And of course, his economy is wild. National wealth is favoring Carthage at the moment, but overall yields are just crazy. We have great food production, great iron production, fantastic stone, solid wood, or even our wood. Look at this spike in wood here. Crazy, crazy stuff. And then I want to look at units produced specifically. Military units produced. Carthage is even catching up there. I think the last time I checked this, it was something like 50-ish to 30-something, and or maybe 48-ish to 30-something. And in the time since I last checked, Alcaraz has bridged that gap even further. So it's going to be a very, very, very tough game for Blaj to emerge victorious. Alcaraz recovering from that early defeat outside of Durathara really could have cost him his game, but he just hunkered down and did what Alcaraz does best and drive up its economy. So anyway, yeah, thanks for being live with us. Appreciate all of you. There's nearly 20 of you in the chat. Thanks for coming along this journey with me. This has been a great game to cast, a great game to watch. Please tune into all the other videos of the action that has been taking place this weekend. And of course, if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying all of the tournament content. There's plenty of it to go around. There's nearly 50 matches in the tournament, I believe. So enjoy. Give us a like, subscribe, hop on Discord, and join the conversation. I'm Siontific, and this has been the Old World Community Tournament. See you next time.